This video is brought to you by Dude Deals. Built for serious hunters that spend over $300 a year on gear, Dude Deals gives you instant access to over 55,000 discounted name brand hunting and outdoor gear up to 98% off. Join thousands of serious hunters just like you and never pay full price again. Click link in the descriptions and try it out for just $1. Scouting season 2022 started out a little bit more exciting than usual. I had a buck that I wanted to be able to find. He was starting to get old, had a lot of potential. I'd had 2 years of experience with him previously, getting trail cam pictures and hunting him and trying to get on this big deer, but hadn't been able to. I knew that this could be a year that he blew up. Started getting my trail cameras out and was able to find the buck fairly early, and knew I wanted to see him in person. Dedicated an early morning, drove up on the mountain and started glassing the canyon. Late morning, about 9 a.m., I finally lucked out and caught the bachelor group heading up and over the ridge to bed. After the first encounter, seeing just how much bigger his body and everything was than any of the other bucks in the area, I knew that he was a true giant. Started putting a lot of time and effort into looking for him. Was able to find him several times and get some really quality video. I'd found several other great bucks scouting in other areas, and getting this video made up my mind that they didn't matter anymore. Wow. Yep, I'm not killing either of those other bucks.
This front fork finished a lot bigger than I thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3.5 inches.
It just follows the beam.
Look on his beam right by his ear, he's got like a drop tine thing, like a little 1.5 inch webbed drop tine thing.
Oh, he does in a little bit of a track right here.
He might tell. As my time to scout started coming to an end, I had dedicated basically all of my free time keeping tabs on this buck, trying to pattern him, learn what he was doing, watch what he did. And in the entire time I watched him, he had only left his little tight pocket of thick regrowth quakies maybe 2 times. And as luck would have it, the night before opener, I went out to watch him and put him to bed. I glassed all of his normal hidey hole and was unable to find him. And then I looked up the ridge about as far south as he had ever been and was able to find him. He was near the skyline in the wide open, kind of a thick, older growth section of the forest that had burned. So it didn't have near the regrowth. It had burned a lot hotter and made it so that it was actually a huntable location. Down where he usually lived was bordering on impossible to kill with a bow. And so I watched him until it was too dark to see from probably 2,500 yards away, put him to bed, and had high hopes for the next morning. By first light opening morning, I'd already worked my way over a mile down the ridge. My dad and brother were on point, 800 yards across the canyon from the buck, to video and hopefully catch my whole hunt on film. I worked slowly out the ridgeline and had eyes on the buck just in time for legal shooting light. Another 40 minutes of easing forward through the thick regrowth and deadfall put me at 120 yards of the buck, but no direct line closer. I backed out about 10 yards and snuck to the backside of the ridge, but as luck would have it, the consistent thermals failed and I could feel the wind pushing straight towards the bucks. Less than 5 seconds later, I heard the heavy bounding as the big buck blew out, and I knew I'd been busted. Having stalked this buck twice the year before, I knew where he would go, and I sprinted down the ridge 600 yards before easing to where I could see the hillside below. I had gotten there 10 seconds too late. The bucks spotted me before I could spot them from only 20 yards away. They blew out hard, bounding down the hillside, and the morning was over. With a storm rolling in and the morning hunt blown, I took the walk of shame back to the trail to meet with my dad and brother. We all agreed the bucks had busted out too hard for it to be likely they'd feed back out in the evening, and we might as well call it a day. We drove home, but after a couple hours the storm had passed and I couldn't miss the evening hunt. I didn't think there was any hope of another stalk, but I thought if I glassed the Pine Canyon where the bucks had ran, that I might get lucky and see even just one member of the herd and give me an idea where to start for day 2. I hiked to the edge of the canyon. Before looking into the pines below me, I scanned way down the ridge, almost straight off the backside of where the bucks had been at first light. In an extremely unlikely spot for any kind of a midday bed, I immediately spotted 3 bucks. I quickly put my spotting scope on them and was blown away to see the giant bedded above the other 2. I didn't take time to video or even grab a quick phone scope pic. I just started jogging up and around the head of the canyon, then about a mile down the ridge. I pushed myself as hard as I ever have and was sneaking the last 40 yards of the ridge line just over from the bucks less than 20 minutes later. Well, it's opening day evening. I blew the stalk this morning. I lucked out and glassed in bed it tonight, but I had to sprint around this canyon. I got the shot, 68 yards, but it was through some thick stuff. I thought I had a wide open window, but my fletchings nicked something. I have no idea where I hit him, but it's not good. I'm just gonna go really slow while I got this fresh mud and a fresh track. Track him quite a ways, and then leave him for the night. Hopefully I can come back in tomorrow and find him. Oh my freaking heck. You can't even see this. I shot him the far ridge over there. I've tracked this buck for almost 2 miles. I made a terrible shot. I don't even know where I hit him. G5 Mega Meat saved my bacon. I have no idea where I hit him. He wasn't bleeding great. He came up here on this little steep ridge and he was sitting here in the trees. I had to shoot him again at like 20 yards in basically the dark. It was only like 10 minutes ago. Holy cow. I think he would be over 200 inches if he matched that horn. This is a big deer. Wow. Alright, here's the mostly debone. I got a little bit left to do, but I should have stopped and done this before I took it off the body. I was going to do a video. So my second shot, you can see through this hole. That's actually, the far side is the entrance, and this is the exit of the shot I finished him with. This big old gnarly thing is the entrance of my initial shot that wounded him. What had to have happened is it hit a tree. I'm shooting 80 pounds, 29-inch draw. I passed through on a buffalo almost last year. The only explanation is I didn't have the weight of the arrow behind it. It must have hit a branch right before it got to him. Because I only got about 2.5, 3 inches of penetration. It basically ruined his shoulder. Arrow stayed with him for a couple hundred yards, but did not get into his chest cavity. So I must have hit a branch and kicked the side of the arrow, so it hit on an angle and didn't penetrate. Super lucky to find him and get another arrow in him. I've definitely been underjudging this deer. I was thinking he'd be lucky to break 180, but I think even with that weird sight, he'll touch 190. So be interesting to see when I get the tape on him. But he is by far my biggest archery buck, and probably my biggest buck yet. I killed a 195 buck in Colorado last year. If you matched that horn, he would definitely be bigger. That horn's a 200-inch type deer. But with this one, he does have this little triple drop thing. That middle one will count. He has that'll count. It's 1.5 inches. Good eye guards. That's a 2.5 to 3 inch cheater, and then this will web clear in, score into there somewhere. He might break 190 as he is. So he's definitely the biggest buck I've ever killed. Mass overall amount of bone. He is a giant. Super grateful, super lucky. He definitely made it tough. I blew the stock hardcore on him a couple times, so pretty cool hunt.